answer, so less would be my answer.
We had numbers earlier suggesting Halliburton struggled mightily in 2 matchups with OKC this year. Joe Fortenbaugh, 1.5 threes for Pascal Siakam tonight, more or less.
More, because the opportunities will be there. At least 5 attempts in both.
And then you kind of caught yourself. I noticed it.
Yes.
Well, I want to give you a little something here. If Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wins the championship, he will become the 4th player ever to win the scoring title, win the league MVP, and win the championship in the same year. Shaq did it once. Lou Alcindor did it for the Milwaukee Bucks. Michael Jordan did it 4 times because, of course, he did. And SGA would be the 4th to do it. By the way, all of those won MVP of the finals as well. It doesn't even have to go into that. So that's an interesting one, right? Look at the question on the screen. I just picked up on it. Jay was like, he's the best player, one of the best players. He's playing to become the best player, right? If he dominates this series, there will be nothing left to discuss. In the moment, at least, the league belongs to SGA.
Correct, until next June. I mean, it would be hard to dethrone a guy into the playoffs and in the finals. Like, that's the trifecta, so to speak. And I think the way that he plays ball, like, I'm so excited for this matchup because I don't know, outside of Aaron Nesmith and Andrew Nembhard, I start to get a little skeptical in terms of depth of defenders with the Pacers. And I think Aaron Nesmith is an incredible defender, an incredible competitor, but this matchup, like, I just think that SGA is so well-rounded. He's strong for his build. He finishes in the paint. He gets his team going, and he's just so evenly paced.
I love watching SGA play. It's still, though, I don't know if I can call him the best player in the game. That's still Nikola Jokic, or that's still Giannis, in my opinion. I think SGA is very well on his way.
This guy won the MVP, he won the scoring title, and he probably should have been the MVP last year, too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but I think the accolades compared to what the game actually is on both sides of the ball, different conversations, right? I still think there's growth for SGA on the defensive end. Same with Jokic. We watched an improvement. That's where I go back to players like Giannis. But I do love the way he plays because I think it's he's the antithesis, right? If AI is the answer, then I think SGA is the antithesis. Just because he does everything contrary to what his peers does. He's not loud. He's not overly marketed. He's not chasing, all these build-ups. Teams. He's just doing it on his own cool, collective way.
There's been sort of an aura of inevitability around this Thunder team, it feels like, all year long. And when that happens, sometimes I feel like those of us in the media who cover this stuff, myself included, it's not a criticism, we try and figure out reasons why it might not happen, right? Well, what might happen? What might befall them that they don't wind up doing this? And the overwhelming likelihood at this point, certainly based upon the odds, and we'll get Joe in on that in a second, is that this is going to be a coronation. This is going to be about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, I hear you, Jay, on the best in the game, but I also think, like, if we live in the present, to me, and even if you go back to last season when those guys come up short in Game 6, toe on the line, whatever, when it comes to the Thunder, like, this has been steady brewing, steady building, whatever you want, and that is sort of what we love about sports, being able to ride with the team. Now, this is obviously not one of your marquee markets, so I don't know if folks are as in tuned as they could be, but this would be a huge moment and an introduction on such a grand stage. I have a hard time not giving it to him.
Listen, I'm old enough to remember when OKC was last in the finals, and no one was talking about their market size because they had Kevin Durant and they had Russell Westbrook and they had James Harden. The conversation was not about, oh, are people going to be into this, or look how few people live in that market. Everyone was into it because it was about the stars. Those guys were superstars playing there. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, for whatever reason, has not cut through the noise in the same way those guys did. This is his opportunity to do it.
See, if you're going to say it's a coronation for him, then I think it's a larger coronation for Sam Presti. I think it puts Sam Presti in that category, Pat Riley or Bob Myers, for what he's been able to do, accumulation of picks. They're still going to have a cap room of $30 million next year, and they have 15+ picks to work off. Are you kidding me? You're talking about one of the best leaders of organizations in the game of basketball. It should catapult his name as well.
Absolutely.
Bake, don't microwave. That's the plan. They've been baking for years. Phoenix tried to microwave. That's what got him in trouble.
So many people tried to microwave.
I understand that. And I heard Stephen A. say you have to have a ring to validate all of it. I mean, for as great as it's been, and I get it, and I understand that working in the smaller market is a bit of a disadvantage for the general manager, to this point, they haven't put the cherry on top. And now there's a chance to do it. Joe, as I look over to you here, I see on my list, OKC, this is your note, has been really good in capital letters to its bettors this season. What does that mean?
Not exactly James Joyce, but the point still gets across. Minus 700 favorite, right? This is something you don't see. You mentioned it earlier. The Warriors against the Cavs a few years ago. That's the last big favorite we saw. So why is the price so big? They print money for their backers. 55-point spread covers in 82 games this season, most in the NBA by a mile. Next closest was Toronto and Cleveland at 48. And they don't just win, they win by margin. 12 points per game in the regular season, 10 points per game in the playoffs. That's what bettors like, teams that are going to blow out the opposition and make you easy money. I talked to a veteran Vegas odds maker yesterday. I asked what you're seeing. We opened it at 9, he said, and immediately took professional money, whacked it up to 9.5. That's what happens. Even when you set a huge number for game one, you're still taking pro money in this situation.
Picks on the screen if we can get them. Cindy, we'll make the predictions on the NBA Finals. I had a feeling it was going to look like this. Jay will. Do I see 5s? I see a 6.
Everybody, poor old
there.
Indiana.
Well, look, and they're going to love this in Indiana. They should. The whole world is giving them no chance whatsoever. That's exactly the way they should want it. We'll find out starting tonight. It's going to be Halliburton and the Pacers. It's going to be SGJ and the Thunder. It's game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight, 8:30 Eastern. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 8.
That's the Panthers and Oilers in back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals.
Across it comes for a shot by Bennett. He scores! His second of the night. The Panthers now lead 3-1. Edmonton Oilers, who trailed 3-1, have scored the last 2.
Really resilient.
Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final is heading to overtime. Out in front, score! Leon Draisaitl! The Oilers win Game 1.
Oilers take game 1 of the Cup Final last night. PK Subban, who looks, and I'll just say it for you, spectacular today in every conceivable way. For those just joining us.